so popular. And isn't TA kind of decent versus him as well? Like
Versus Tiny?
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know if you want a 2-3 TA from second pick. I think
5 seconds.
maybe they feel the hero's strong enough to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's when you think the hero's broken, right?
When you can first phase it. And
Yeah,
we've
when
seen
you
it, we've
first
seen
phase it,
yeah.
not as a closer, right?
Yeah,
Because as first pick, you can pick it on that. I don't know.
Of course. There's a chance for them to counter it a little bit with a...
It's radiant.
But I do like TA versus Tiny. It's a pretty good matchup.
Oh, team.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. Another
AA
hero.
ban, Batrider ban, they were ready for this. I think they predicted the Tiny pick and they are ready.
It looks like a perfect pick, right? It's so good. Bat,
Yeah.
AA, banned out Viper. Yeah, he's strong. He's not amazing with the
It's
break.
dire.
It's an Ice Ice Timbersaw.
Yeah. And the Lion. Okay.
Classic. Easy hero to open up. It always sort of solidifies your draft. You always have some stuns and catch and some burst.
And they played Timber plus Lion many times before in NA, so this is something that they're used to. This Lion can also just rotate away once Timber is 3,
10
leave him there, rotate towards mid, get some... Not the greatest rotator, but
5
still.
But you're
seconds.
freed up to do what you want.
You can do whatever. And they
Templar
go with the
Assassin.
Okay.
I mean, if one team wasn't gonna get it, but
So this locks in the Tiny though, right?
this is Tiny 4.
I have seen a
Carry?
lot of CIS teams play Tiny Carry, particularly VP. I think they play the carry Tiny really well. They go like Phase Boost Blink Dagger. They're sort of playing it as like a mid Tiny.
Just be aggressive. SC
Yeah.
does the same, and you're pretty much being the
5
playmaker.
seconds.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, if you have this TA, she can kind of carry, right?
She is the carry, honestly. She is a
She's
farm
really-
priority, right?
Exactly. So the Tiny from that safe lane could still be the playmaker. You can do that.
Right.
What's Radiant's ban plan?
So, with the direction of this draft currently, what else are you looking for Team Spirit?
Well, right now in the bans, they're looking to ban out heroes that are good versus TA. Since they picked her early, they do need to spend their next
Cover her.
3 bans, to sort of protect her in that sense.
Do you think this Ember? I completely agree with. I like the ban because of the Flame Guard. Just gets rid of the refraction, gets on top of her easily, right? I can completely agree with that. I've seen some teams ban out Venomancer, and even when Veno is laned into her, you ignore him. Eventually, you get refraction
5
dispels,
seconds.
and it just ends up like, okay, you have a Veno on your team.
I
I
think-
have a TA that's bad.
In this game, the one thing that might make the Veno work is that, as we were talking about earlier, Timbersaw frees up the support. So Veno alone doesn't
rotate in.
counter her, but if you have a freed up support that can run at her with the Veno, that might be hard to deal with.
I agree, yeah.
I don't know if I would care about Veno so much this game. I just don't think that hero's that scary
That's
for mid.
scary, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
It might be some weird scrim thing. That happens a lot.
I think we saw Veno yesterday as well on mid lane.
Yeah. And honestly,
It-
sometimes they pick
10
Veno and
seconds.
they don't lane it versus TA still. And he just is good versus her in the game because you're still some like
5
Just the
seconds.
dots and whatnot.
I want to
you know.
say like pseudo melee, but TA just hits from so far now, so that's not even true.
I don't understand the range in TA anymore. It's
very
completely
high.
busted.
Yeah.
Like if you get Quiver or Grove Bow,
Actually,
you're a drow. You're
the
not
thing
TA.
about that Veno TA matchup is if you hit the wards, I think they have 0 armor,
Yeah.
and the Desolator applies on them. So your side blades, which goes 2,000 range now, are just
killing people.
huge pure damage.
They actually ban out the TB and the Razor, so they kind of think
And
alike.
those are 3 TA counters, I would say, right? Like Razor, I don't think he dominates TA in lane, but he is
10
pretty good versus her. And TB, like he's just super high armor with illusion super.
Plus all the damage instances.
Yeah,
5 seconds.
exactly.
Very good.
Yeah, I forget who it was on panel earlier who was really
It's
hyping
Radiant's
up
turn to
Razor
pick.
against TA, saying Razor might be one of the answers
Really?
down the line. Yeah, I was surprised by it as well. I actually have it written down, but I forget who actually said it. But now that Ursa ban coming out,
I can see it. Like Razor, your lane versus TA is pretty good. She'll farm. But if you have any sort of tempo with your supports, like some Clockwork who can run in with you, you can pressure in the jungle, and your ulti destroys her, your link destroys her.
yeah.
So
I'm excited to see what the TA answers are in a few days. Like what people think those strong TA answers are,
10
because different
seconds.
analysts are saying different things.
I mean,
Yeah,
well,
just ban it forehead.
Phoenix is one of them, right?
It's really good because you have so many damage instances coming from Phoenix, and it's also full comfort zone for Evil Geniuses fly
of course.
for as long as possible.
Fly Phoenix.
Fly Phoenix, exactly. Plus you have this Slime to cover you a little bit, you have the Hex, you have the Impale. It feels like pretty good Phoenix game. Problem is obviously always the laning.
Yeah, but once again, I mean, we find ourselves in the scenario. We're talking about how in these best of twos, you want to be in those scenarios where you got everybody on something that they're comfortable on, and you're calling out names every single time that you see this locked in. You know, you got Fly, you got Ice, Ice, Ice. It's a good-looking draft for EG so far.
I'm perhaps waiting for some Grimstroke, some... Mars might not be that great for Team Spirit, but Mirana, perhaps, that we talked about, looks pretty solid versus the Phoenix. They go with the Gyro. Okay, so that puts actually Tiny on the 4,
Spirit.
right?
Wait,
That's most
you
likely
just had like a visceral reaction. Were you just trying to see, or did you really not like the Gyro?
I love Gyro. It's my most late carry, but I honestly didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
I don't think that hero's been that highly valued.
10
Everyone I
seconds.
message about Gyro tells me to shut up and go away. So it's very hurtful, actually.
5 seconds.
EG immediately with the Storm. I think that actually is one of the heroes that is quite good versus TA. I think if nothing happens, the TA can slightly out-farm Storm, but I can't remember what game I was casting. But
There was a game Storm TA
yeah, the
already.
Storm solo killed TA really early. Do you remember who that was?
I can't remember, no.
I think it might have been Vici Execration. I'm just making up stuff, but it happened.
It happened. I actually watched the game. I just can't remember it.
Take a page out of Kyle's book. He's very good at doing that. Just make it up.
Just make it up.
Yeah, just make it up.
Last time this matchup happened, Storm killed TA 15 times, and he just abandoned it in the middle of the match.
15
It was
times.
really good.
Wow.
Well,
Okay, so
helps kill the egg.
if Storm doesn't do well versus TA here, that means the CIS is definitely the strongest region, right? Because they...
I have no idea.
Yeah, not sure about that one. Not sure about that one.
But they go with the Mars. They go with their
One of your
comfort
classic
zone.
heroes you mentioned.
Yeah, this is what they pick. I actually expected perhaps a Mirana Mars, and then you put the Tiny on that position 1 like we talked about. But they go with Gyro Mars, which is also solid.
When you do this, when you pick your cores as first
10
pick,
seconds.
not last pick, it's because you feel like these two heroes have really good synergy on your
5
lineup,
seconds.
and it's going to get banned out. You won't be able to get it last.
And they
because
do have a lot of circles, right?
they
Like
do.
Mars,
The circle strats are very good in
What's
this game.
Radiant's ban plan anyway?
they ban out actually the Life Stealer, okay.
I'm thinking with the Gyrocopter a bit more. It is seen as a Timbersaw counter, but that lane is really like sus. It can swing both ways really hard. If Timber has a really good lane, he gets a lot of reactive armor, and you get kicked out of lane as Gyro, it feels really
10
bad.
seconds.
On the other hand, you always provide that magical damage, maybe some lockdown with the missile to kill that hero.
5 seconds.
One thing that I see from Team Spirit, however, one obvious problem for me is lack of instant catch. It's a free Storm game, right?
Yeah.
You have no way of actually getting out of it decently. Like Tiny, perhaps.
So what I think that means, because Mars can do that, but you need a lot of items.
Yeah, you need
You'll need
Yu's Blink, right?
hood into Yu's, I think, and then even a blink on top of that. So maybe EG should look at shutting that down from the Spirit side and just like picking a really strong safe laner, which I think is when they function best. I don't know what happened last game. Their ankle trialing with the Earth is super weird, but anyways.
How greedy do you think Morphling is?
It's
You
Dice.
don't really care about
For EG?
Yeah. Because they ban out Grimstroke Mars Mirana that we mentioned for Team Spirit, but for EG, Morphlings,
It's good for Sharo, for sure.
historically good versus Mars as well. You can fly over, maybe not versus Rebuke, but versus Gyro has always been decent.
10 seconds.
Do you care about that much? Like they banned out the Life Stealer, also a hero that's been played
seconds.
versus.
I think because
quite a
there's
bit.
a Tiny, who's like a pretty weak 4 laner, you can definitely get away with it this
you can
game.
get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Morphling is if he has a good lane, he's not like a slow hero who has to AFK farm. He's a carry who will pressure towers. You can even get like some Dragonlance on him and just hit towers.
They ban out the Void instead, which would make a
You think
lot of sense.
Spirit's just gonna pick like some Mirana here. Is that most likely?
My problem is
Oh, sorry, no, they need a 5.
yeah, they need a 5. Yeah, exactly. They have a tiny 4, and they need some reliable catch. They go with the Disruptor. It's most played in
catch.
CIS. Yeah.
I mean, CIS teams have been playing this hero for like
And it's
10
another circle, right? Like
You do need a
beautiful Mars,
Circle
Gyro,
strat.
yeah.
There we go.
years. That's a good point.
All right. What do we think's gonna round out this draft?
10 seconds.
Life Stealers banned out, Void banned
I like
out.
Juggernaut, but
5 seconds.
I keep saying that and no one picks it. Like, I don't know if the hero's just not that good. Or if it's because I'm a support
with
player, I want my
Yeah.
core to do everything for me. Yeah.
A lot
It's
of
a-
damage instances.
It's a good PL game, right?
Yeah. It's pretty solid. You don't care about any of these heroes pretty much. Gyro AoE damage that people talk about doesn't really work that well against
I think-
against PL.
I
Maybe
think-
Hood build.
Yeah, oh, I can see that working. That sounds pretty good. I think the lane normally can be sort of 50-50 with Mars, but just because, again, they see that tiny forward, they're confident that this PL can free farm. And I think that's when the hero's strong. Like, you need to get to this level 7 timing and start running at heroes.
Yep.
Okay, and you think they'll be able to do that here?
I think so. I mean, Tiny should be weak in lane. Is the left side Radiant? Is that how this works? I don't cast much.
I'm not sure as well.
Okay, if the Mars Tiny is on Radiant, that's a lot better than them, just because you can pull in between your tier 1 and tier 2. If the PL's on Radiant, I think that lane should be super easy for him. Even if PL's on Dire, I think he should probably free farm.
For me, the main point in this game is the Storm Spirit Abed on that mid lane, because he can take over completely. There's what you have Disruptor and Tiny. You don't really care about that much.
Yeah.
You can itemize against it, so if he rolls out of control, he will make enough space for this PL to just go ham and
I mean, if you ask me, I have to pick EG because I'm from NA.
okay, I'm going with Spirit for sure then.
But I think the draft is pretty good.
You gotta give Spirit credit. The draft, like you guys said, looking pretty good. And then on top of that, they've already created an upset here by starting things off. At least a draw. At very least, they're going to be able to get a draw. If they get it 2-0, how many ripples is that going to throw throughout the entire group stage? We're going to be jumping into the game right now, and we're going to see if they can keep this upset going or if EG is going to be able to knot it up.
I'm dead.
Are you guys gonna play the game? Welcome aboard Tiny Airlines. Do not fasten your seatbelts.
Right, Lacoste, on the one hand, we've got a lot of circles, the Venn diagrams from Team Spirit, my favorite kind of draft. But EG with a lot of disengage, the Timber, the PL, the Storm, ways to escape from the circles and bisect them.
Yeah, this lineup from EG is very good at going in and out of the fights. They want to just keep repeating that with the Phantom Lance to reset. Same goes for Storm Spirit. Then you have a heal coming out from the Phoenix. Timber, so in and out, one of the best heroes to do so, and not relying too much on the cooldowns. The only big cooldown you have is Phoenix Supernova and the Finger.
Yeah.
Even without that, EG's lineup can pretty much keep fighting all the time. History might repeat itself one more time. Position for Tiny. I just don't like the hero. I just feel the whole potential of the hero is being wasted. You're using 2 out of 4 abilities pretty much.
What's the kind of idea behind that? Is it that mid Tiny just gets to items faster and you use the magic damage earlier game and it feels better because position 4 Tiny is a bit more delayed, or?
Position 4 Tiny, like, he soaks up a lot of farm, a lot of safe farm, because if you don't get a lot of early kills, you need to give him a lane to farm a Blink Dagger. Especially if the game slows down, he will need to be taking up the farm, let's say, Dire tier 2 tower. This is where he wants to get his Blink Dagger up, because it's kind of a secure space to farm, especially if it's warded up.
And also, very importantly, the panel was bringing up the catch factor onto the Storm Spirit, where Tiny is pretty much the only reliable way to catch Abed when he is on his Storm Spirit.
They have a Disruptor. I love that position 5 that they picked as a last pick. Grimshaw got banned out with the Disruptor. It's kind of a CIS classic where it provides you long-range reach, keeps out of mana, glimpse back into the Static Storm. No one likes to play into that. You can't really itemize. I want to see what his item build's gonna be this time around, but the BKB feels like a safe choice, maybe even a second item when you're playing against the Disruptor. Tiny, even Gyrocopter. It's a ton of magical damage. Looking at the off lane, ISS should have a pretty good time. There is a lot of harassment early on from Gyrocopter. Rocket was one of the best spells early on in the game, Thunderstrike, so you need to be careful about that. One of the reasons why he brought a bit more Legion, 6 tangos plus a healing cell, and also decided to get a Timber Chain. Playing into 2 range heroes, you don't get too much value out of it.
And especially with Crit backing him up, he's always got that disengage with the Earth Spike, able to catch up with Poshka or Yatoro. And also the fact that we know that Timber Sword like to be left alone, level 3, level 4 or so, and Lion could look for those rotations into mid, where, as AUI was saying, as we've mentioned before, this Storm Spirit matchup against Templar Assassin, it can look very even, but some of the times we see that level 3, level 4 from Storm, get the Vortex under tower, kill the TA off, and it snowballs out contention from that point. If you add in a Lion to the mix, you've got another stun, and real good kill threat.
Toronto Tokyo using these side blades nicely. 4 hits in a row. dealt damage to Abed. Doesn't have bottle yet. Meanwhile, Abed does, so he can go and pick up one of the side runes.
Double deny there coming through from Abed off of one Vortex. Wonderfully done.
Needs to be careful. Toronto Tokyo playing it really well, just protecting the top water rune. No one's making a move to the bottom. Abed will just go there and refill it.
Yeah, needs to do so. And then down in that bottom lane, we have seen, the Mars, the Tiny, tossing the Phoenix around.
Dire's
Difficult
courier is
early days for
sorted.
Fly. Very squishy hero, could get caught out by some stuns. But Phantom Lantern so far has had pretty good early lane stage guarded by that Phoenix. As there goes the initial burst of damage onto Fly, just chipping away at EG a little bit there. 12 and 6 on the Mars. Starting to rack up a fair number of denies. But the problem begins top lane already. ISS level 3, dragging wave around. And this is where that Lion can start to maneuver himself in towards that mid lane or around the rune spawns. Crit though, under vision. Radiant Wall there that we see, and a dire one up on the high ground will spot out the Lion's movements. Templar Assassin right now, starting to fall behind, hasn't really had the opportunity to go and farm the small camp, which we quite often see from these Templar Assassins in the mid lane. Very much having to play the straight 1v1 lane matchup. It's also blocked up by a sentry camp. Thank you, Observer. That's another good reason why he's not been able to do it.
Not very smart, something that you don't expect, but we talked about pretty much the same thing, actually. Is that ward in? It's in. So EG and Team Spirit both blocked the small camp. It's being pinged out. Not getting more farm than what you get from the lane.
Yeah, super important against both of those mid laners. Tiny gonna have to run it back. I don't know if he's brought some more regen out to him. It was very for that Tiny to stick around with. No real mana pool there to play around with as Abed deals the water rune, but mirrors Tiny, rotating in with a toss. Does get the mango for the avalanche, and Abed taking a lot of damage from the right click.
Tiny needs to be careful.
Here comes
Another
Crit.
pull could make a kill.
Dive forward, you're right, and flies on top of it. Body blocks up the Tiny, mirror, right back with a vortex, hexed and slain. First blood for Abed.
Not just that, he's also going to be picking up the enemy bounty rune. TP's back to the mid lane. And also a water rune. Can he get it? Toronto Tokyo is already there.
That's still dangerous. Toronto Tokyo. The refraction charge is going to be burnt on cooldown. 8-1, one fairy fire, the damage coming thick and fast. Mimoshka rotates in to try and save the TA, and so will Tiny with an avalanche. Looking for Abed with a toss, but Abed's fast enough to run it back, while Toronto Tokyo is burnt alive here.
Perfect timing.
To him, and the refraction comes back up again. Still being burnt down by Fly with a dive with the fiery spirits. They kill the TA in the end.
Tiny, he needs to get this kill. Earth Spike ready in a second. Crit, can he deny himself? He cannot. At least he gets a free TP. If he denies himself there, needs to spend 100 gold. Nicely done by EG. They rotate both of the supports. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, RTZ, he needs a cell. Someone needs to TP there and bring him a healing cell. Ice on the top lane feels pretty secure. Just having a ring, points a reactive armor, going straight into good. No shenanigans. My man, he knows that can't afford to... I remember back in the days when players were so greedy. What if I get mana boots, not even a casual cloak, and try to get the Bloodstone, first item?
Straight up. There's a stun. Chain disables. The support's rotating into that mid lane again, and they are snowballing this Abed Storm completely. Shutting down that Templar Assassin, who was already struggling in the CS department. 17 and 4 on her. While Storm Spirit now 31 and 8, so pretty much doubling up on the CS.
EG just playing around Abed. First 6 minutes, going for a bottle refill, securing the runes. He is level 6 now, and they can start putting some pressure on the tower. It's not going to be a lot of damage, but it's going to be some chip damage.
Yeah, because you mentioned that RTZ would want a south bottom, right? PL is now pulling waves. He's alone, left completely isolated and deserted bottom lane. No one came down there because both supports TP'd mid. Crit brought a salve and bottle refilled Abed to keep that pressure and tempo up in the mid lane and forcing Team Spirit to come into mid.
Keeping the catapult alive, dealing a ton of damage. Not what I expected. Zip available, goes across. Level 1 glimpse, not enough. They did not want to waste more time, and this puts off some pressure off PL, as you mentioned. Same goes for Timbersaw. They're getting the levels while keeping them busy on the mid lane. Once RTZ gets level 6, he can easily just go to jungle. Collapse has that Arena of Blood available, but they're easy juking in the trees.
Yeah, just doppelgangers away. And Mira, so far this position for Tiny, like you were mentioning, has had a pretty slow start, and that may be a bad omen of things to come for Team Spirit in this match. Because Timbersaw has been left alone, Gyro has ditched top lane and gone back to farm some stacks in the jungle. That leaves Ice to pick up some of these big tanky items, and I don't know, it feels so bad for Team Spirit to leave that Timbersaw alone up there, because he's able to go and shove that tier 1 tower, open up the map for his team, and start being that tanky nuisance.
I'm not sure how they kill Ice. Next, they need to bring numbers. They need Static Storm, Gyrocopter to drop the multiple rocket barrages and a cooldown to be able to kill him. Because right now, with that early hood, 7 minutes hood, has 7 stick charges, a bracer. I don't think he dies. Like, he should feel pretty safe for the next 10 minutes, pretty much.
It's like an impossibility.
Jax thinks
EG
Radiant's
have also
bottom tower
scouted out a stack being built up in that top jungle. Fly glips back into the Gyrocopter's damage, can't dive away. Couldn't even catch the stick charges. Chase done perfectly. They will defend their stacks, going to deward them. Miposhka making sure the vision from EG doesn't stay around in that aggressive portion of their own jungle.
Dire's top tower is about
A
to
crit
fall.
onto Tiny.
Just
The rune, it does spawn bottom though, a regen there for the TA, but it toss back into the gyro again. Get Yatoro involved. Storm Spirit's there with the vortex. Tiny should get burst down, but Arbed running pretty low, limited on mana. Oh no, he's been
What
fine.
is it? Pop the mango straight away and get on top of it.
Dire's top
Bottle
tower is
refill,
ready
did
to
it happen?
shake.
It did.
If
EG
you're looking
Fly
for Radiant's
manages to
bottom
get
tower,
it.
hurry.
Keep refilling it. This is something that they've done in the Singapore Major. Play around Abed whenever he's playing the Storm Spirit, and here it comes. One more bottle refill. He never needs to go back, and I like his itemization, what he's doing. I've seen a lot of Kaya, Sanj, Storm Spirit. He's not messing around. Going straight into Orchid. His next item probably going to be just a
Jax
BKB
thinks
to be
Radiant's
able to
bottom tower
have
is
that
about to fall.
sustain. They have no abilities whatsoever that go through magic immunity.
That safety against the circles as well. All that team fight from Team Spirit. It will be here soon, you know, Gyrocopter closing in on 6. We've got the arena like you mentioned. Static Storm will be up in the next minute or two.
Jax thinks Radiant's
But
bottom
EG
tower is about to fall.
getting themselves out on the map once again. Arbed stealing some stacks. 2 supports connecting with the Timbersaw top, while you mentioned the Phantom Lantern now, you know, level 6, so perfectly fine for him to go and jungle himself through towards that top lane. And a completely different story to game 1, where Team Spirit were the ones very heavily reacting and very snappily getting into position to fight. It's been EG dictating exactly what the moves have been.
It's a bit of a different game, because previous game, Storm jumped on this position for Tiny, who is level 4. Doesn't contribute that much, uses Avalanche, still manages to die.
And a dominating streak for Arbed, yeah, 4,600 net worth on him.
Jax thinks Radiant's bottom tower is
TA
about to fall.
starting to catch up little by little, farming through the Ancients, clearing through whatever little stacks have been left to her as well.
Every single time you kill Templar Assassin, it feels like you kind of killed Meepo type of a hero in Flash Farms.
It's not just the money you get from the kill, it's that 20-30 seconds where she's not farming, and you think about the GPM she's getting, like that's 400, 500 gold, maybe more with the stacks she's able to take down. You are crippling the Templar Assassin very quickly.
And this is what I talked about. The tier 1 tower has fallen. You see Tiny top lane, tier 2 tower wants to get some farm. Will soak up some of that easy farm, safe one. Not even gonna get the last hit, it's very hard.
And they jump on Yatoro. And it says Ice's job now to come and play in the mid lane. Just very systematic from EG. From top lane and towards mid. Claim up these objectives. And try and use some of their own ulti abilities here. Supernova, Finger of Death. They spawn out the TP from Mira. Tiny. Straight up jump from Arbed Storm. Now that's tough. The Static Storm. Still in the arena. Well done. On to Arbed. Ice still pushing forward though. The Hex and the Catch on the collapse. Not good enough to finish him off. Fly takes down Mira's Tiny. One Ice alive. And the Finger of Death. The Supernova lands. And sure, you killed the Storm Spirit, but the cost was dear.
Popped off, pretty much he was the only one who was trying to hit it, and then Finger comes, first Finger damage, 4 crit on top of it, they will get the tower. Ice's Ice is just not killable at the moment, and if he decides to get a Vanguard, I don't know how they kill him. Like, maybe it's a bit of an overkill if he wants to upgrade. Oh, collapse.
Well, Fly trying a bit of a dewarding mission there. Unsuccessful in his attempt.
Glimpse ready, but it's only level 2, so out of reach, and it's also a Timber Saw, so no point to waste mana. Meanwhile, all this was happening. RTZ gets the free gold from the tower, keeps farming the jungle, getting very close to his Diffusal Blade, just needs 400 gold. I wouldn't mind seeing Hood also on him, because there's a bunch of magical damage, like second item Hood on PL feels very strong.
Yeah, tank yourself up, allow your Phantom Lancer to actually get involved in these fights. We are still holding on though as Team Spirit. Gyrocopter just not looking too bad in the old network, but there it is, that catch on Storm. So vitally important they get that kill, but you lose out, what, 3 heroes in the exchange. Good Supernova, Tier 1 tower's dead, and that Finger of Death right at the end onto Yatoro. Picking off the Gyro in the trade. Good little fight from EG there, and all dictated by these catapult timings. Much smoother from them. And it's down to Spirit now.
Team Spirit does not have a good hero against the Timber Saw. They don't have a Spirit Vessel carrier. They don't have a percentage-based damage. So he's gonna feel pretty safe. Like, this might be the game where Ice Ice Highs just ends up with 0 or 1 death in the end, no matter who wins.
RTZ. He's being pinged out. Had no idea this is coming, but he gets the doppelganger. The real one stuck inside the Dancing Storm. Spear back and dead. The unfortunate situation for the Phantom Lancer where he spawns inside the field.
Doesn't matter if it's the high ground, if it's a cliff, he will always find a way to get stuck, Gary.
That's the RTZ way. A good move though from Team Spirit. You know, using these circles we've been talking about, getting on the board, finding core kills, and Collapse leading that charge. He is the carry right now of their team. Top of the net worth, and he has all of the abilities they need to pick off these more elusive targets in the Storm and the PL. Never feels like there's a rush for EG though, does it? It's always Team Spirit scrambling to look for fights, trying to build up their items, catching up in this kind of game.
I saw a play from Nico when Execration was playing, when he used Branch to get out of the static field. Yeah, the static field, kinetic field. Could have possibly been done the same thing with the Ironwood tree there.
Ooh, could have been an idea, yeah.
I'm not 100% sure it works, but I believe it does. You know, we analysts, casters, you know what we say, I'm gonna reveal a secret. If you're not certain about something, you say, last time I checked it, it was working, or to be even more professional, like last time I tested it, to look like you're doing some extra work. And then you say, yeah, it worked. I was in demo hero mode last night. I spent whole night, didn't even sleep, was just testing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is how it's worked with like Sprout and Cox, right? People stand inside, if something takes their place, they have to get pushed down somewhere. Pushed into the grey and find the Storm Spirit. And that Phoenix, yet again, controlling that middle lane and that dire triangle.
That's the Orchid reveal for the Storm Spirit, so he can get easy pickoffs on the side lanes if someone wants to push. Panel talked about what the itemization for Mars in this game should be. Hood of Defiance into Yule Scepter, so you can survive through the initial burst, and also have that setup for the Storm Spirit. You have also a way of removing Fiery Spirits, removing that silence as well on top of it.
Man, Ice Ice Ice. You kept saying he's going to be unkillable and he might have, you know, 0, 1 deaths.
No, I don't think he dies. I don't think he should die at all. Now that seeing that Vanguard is up and that he's going for the Guardian Greaves.
Yeah, I saw that pick. I was like, okay, he's actually gone for it. Might be overkill, like you mentioned, but he can just do what he's doing now. He has sat mid for about 3 minutes, just pushing wave, making sure that there is no pressure at all on his own tier 1. And that leaves a complete wide open map for RTZ with 150 CS, 16 minutes in, Diffusal Blade with a Hood. EG should be feeling quite strong and ready to fight. But they don't need to force anything, they can just keep scaling, keep farming. You know Team Spirit eventually will want to come to you.
Whenever you have PL in the team, and the matchup, the carry-to-carry matchup is good, you don't feel rushed. You don't necessarily need to go in and seek out the fights. It seems like it's just going to be a tier 2 for tier 2. Both teams playing with the catapults, a lot of damage coming onto these towers. Team Spirit actually backing off. They only see Phantom Lancer on the top. Worried.
So it's a good point you brought up, and I think Lizard mentioned it as well. Gyrocopter against Phantom Lancer. And we've always thought historically that, oh, he's got AoE damage, he can clear illusions.
Jax thinks
But
Radiant's
it's
bottom
that
tower is
double-edged sword,
down.
right? If the Phantom Lancer gets on top of the gyrocopter, he doesn't
Dire's top
really
tower
deal
has
with the illusions that
Radiant's
well.
big problems.
Yeah, it's really not that great, especially once Phantom Lancer gets that tanky item, which most likely is gonna be hard eventually. Then the damage output from gyrocopter is really not noticeable.
Yeah, you can take the illusions down to like half HP and then they're all done for. And look at this. Timbersaw just TPs into the middle of 5 heroes basically.
Thanks to Glimpse.
Glimpse back all the way to top lane again, so tier 1 should finally be claimed by Team Spirit here as Evil Geniuses. They are putting themselves in a position to contest this.
Dire's top tower
Are they on
has some
division?
Radiant-shaped
The Team Spirit know this is coming.
Do
They
Radiant
spot
want their
out the
middle tower to
Timbersaw.
fall?
And they full on leg it away from that tier 1 mid.
Is under attack.
Timbersaw is, I'm back, baby. I'm back on the mid lane. You glimpsed me. I'm ready to go in one more time.
You thought you got rid of me? Thought you know who I am?
Some damage dealt to tier 4 tower, 330, not too bad. First Roshan still alive. Spear.
Phoenix. So that's a target they can go for.
Not sure if they needed a bit of an overkill there with the static storm.
And Abed farming away. Gets himself up to that Kaya now. But yeah, tier 1 mid still standing and Team Spirit struggling to get a firm grasp in this game. 3k lead starting to build up for Evil Geniuses. And again, is that situation where they really do just want to extend this game out. There's no panic, no rush.
Exercise just building up stacks inside the Roche pit. Haste available, Storm Spirit will pick it up.
And then he's back into mid lane.
They tried. He tried to make something happen. It feels like EG wanted to do Roche, but realized maybe we don't have that much damage once Phantom Lancer joins. We have, but he was playing the top lane. So a couple of seconds wasted, nothing too serious. There was this window where Arena was down for 60 seconds. Then goes for Static Storm. Static Storm will be up in 30.
And then we'll chip away at Roshan.
Dire are scanning friends.
Very fearful play from Team Spirit though. They're scanning the bottom tier 2. Pushing out with a Tiny. 2 heroes holding ramp in that bottom jungle. Gyro farming behind and TA in the Ancients. So Roshan completely uncontested. And Storm Spirit, one of the best Aegis carriers in the game. Going to have absolutely free reign in that next team fight. Now, execution-wise for Team Spirit here, it has to be so spot on. This next team fight could just be the game-ending move.
Abed can afford to go for more greedy items, especially now that he picked up the Aegis. It's not so much about the Aegis, it's about the neutral item. Found the Nether Shoal, something that Phantom Lancer likes to hold. But he went for a hood anyway, so they give it to the Storm Spirit, and now he can go into the Bloodstone, especially with Aegis being picked up.
And go straight into those late-game items.
No need to get a BKB.
Nah.
Radiant's
Kaya
bottom
Sound's
tower
coming up
is under attack.
for your Timbersaw as well. So he's got that status
Dire's top
resistance.
tower is under
All
attack.
that tankiness which we've already seen from him. His presence on the map has been
Radiant are scanning
insurmountable.
friends.
Sticking in that mid lane
Jax
and
thinks Radiant's
making sure
bottom
Team
tower
Spirit
is
have to
under
make
attack.
silly little moves like this.
Dire's middle
Backstabbing the
tower is
tier
under
1 tower with a Tiny.
It's not a
One
big
more hit from Mira. But bought a Blink Dagger, so Tiny probably quite pleased with himself in that, as long as they don't lose anymore. There's the Arena Spear catching out Crit. A 1-for-1 trade in the tier 1 grab by Team Spirit. The last of the TP home though, now Disruptor. Do we get the escape out of here? I don't believe so. Phantom Lancer's on your tail. A 2-for-1, the tier 1 grabbed up by Spirit, but this is still EG gunning it straight down towards that Dire base.
Phantom Lancer's getting huge. Good done, as we mentioned, now going into SNY. On top of the Imp Claw, so he deals a ton of damage. Ice Ice one more time. Not killable, they're completely ignoring him.
He's just a monument to tankiness right now.
It's the thing about the support. Position 5 doesn't really do too much against the Timber. Neither does your position 4. Offlaner, he can't afford to get a Spirit Vessel. Position 4, it's pretty much always the same item build. You need that Blink Dagger to get to top of people. Position 5 will not get enough farm, and like even if you decide to get a Spirit Vessel, he will have a way of dispelling it because it comes down very late.
They've got the catcher with the stacks down with like Meld Strike, everybody there.
I don't think it's enough, Gary. I actually don't think it's enough.
For even a chance then.
Yeah, right now he has Kaya Sanj, he has a Vanguard, Armor, Hood of Defiance on top of it, holding a Bracer, which gives him even more magic resistance.
Oh, he's toying with them now. He's just standing in front of their tier 2, holding the creep wave, keeping the push going while the rest of his squad, they're down bottom, they're farming triangle.
Hodl, wait. But they can't touch him. He has 3,000 HP, effective HP. It's probably around 6,000, to be more honest.
Yeah, probably. And the fact that stuns just, water off a duck's back. Don't touch him.
Let that middle tower full?
And a great spot here for EG to be in. Ancient stack built up for RTZ. 2 tier 2 towers ready to be grabbed up by them in the mid of the bottom lane. And this first Aegis really has allowed them to take some pretty supreme match control. But it has to be said, Team Spirit, they've kept that net worth lead at around 3k. They are still farming very nicely. TA is up there, close to where the Phantom Lancer is. Gyro hasn't slipped away. So they are starting to hit some of these important item timings themselves. Like the BKB on TA is going to be big for them.
TA has been slowed down. This is not the type of a game that TA wants to play. She wants to be out there on the map, putting some pressure, possibly invading enemy triangle, getting some kills. Also stealing Roshan from a TA lineup, always gonna feel good. I'm just watching at Ice. I'm not even moving my mouse, Gary. Checking what he's doing. If they want,
is that your therapy?
This is my therapy, exactly. I just chilling.
Nice mug of tea with a bit of honey in it, watching Ice Timbersaw.
I want to see if they decide to make a move on him. Like, he dies if they bring 5 heroes.
Well, they can move top instead. A start off the gyro, glimpse away. Ahmed sent. Side of the map. And crit into a sacrifice from EG. While Mira getting caught up here by RTZ. Some good traffic slowed down the Phantom Lancer. There with the lands and the Sunray coming. Mira attempts the TP, but sliced and diced by Ice. Storm Spirit, the Yules in the spear setup. Abed goes with a couple of chain stones with the Hug Missile coming through, but Yatoro needs the help of the Glimpse.
Good Glimpse back. A bit of a lag. We'll disconnect and reconnect quickly.
He'll be back just fine. Is that his Bloodstone finish now, Lacoste?
Yeah, it's Bloodstone flying to him. It doesn't have anything queued up. It should be another tanky item.
Skadi, maybe?
Skadi feels good. You're playing against the 2 range heroes. The slow is insanely good. And either that or a heart. I would kind of prefer Skadi because you're playing into 2 ranged cores. If it was a melee, maybe a Skadi would have been a better choice, but we'll see what he decides to go for. Abed ready to go.
So is Yatoro. There we see reactive armor stats from Timbersaw, the most tanky talent choices from the Phantom Lancer. And with that Skadi or the heart, whatever it might be that you mentioned, only going to increase his tankiness.
Timbersaw's still deciding what do I want to buy. Wants that Guardian Greaves, but does not want to spend gold, so he's changing his item build quite a lot. Disassemble via a Sanj, get the Bloodstone, have a Sanj, possibly upgrade to Heaven's Halberd against the Gyro, against the TA. Gotta be great.
Oh, you can disassemble his Vanguard as well, can't you, for that
Yeah.
Vitality booster? That's so good. We'll see what he turns everything else into, like a ring of health and stuff like that.
This is something that pro players have been more lately, just getting more efficiency from the items by disassembling.
Let's wrap around. Team Spirit.
And there we go. And
You feeling it? Yules into spear coming, Static Storm onto RTZ with the field. The circles all overlapping towards the Phantom Lancer. RTZ, he's going to doppelganger. He's still alive, and they turn on take one to go. Disruptor and the Sunray heal allows the RTZ PL to cruise through to this victorious fight for EG. Mira zapped on, zipped towards Arfed, will find the tiny on the backside, and Tokyo is BKB to TP. They're on the run. They are moving back to their fountain. That was their aggressive move, and it just flounders, falls flat on its face.
once EG gets a kill or 2, and if egg is still available, they pop that egg, fight's completely over. They don't have enough attack speed to kill it. Templar Assassin is not gonna stand there, especially if BKB is down. Gyrocopter also forced to use an earlier BKB in the fight. Now we have a Bloodstone on the Storm Spirit complete. We have Phantom Lancer going for the Skadi that we talked about, and you have a Bloodstone on Timbersaw, also keeping this casual ring, so he disassembled Kaya and Sanj. It was enough, you know, he got something out of the item, he got 0 deaths from it, and a Bloodstone done, Heaven's Halberd done.
Dagon next, yeah? No.
Has Shiva's guard.
No,
at
Chivas,
the
please.
moment.
Exercise, you know you want to buy Dagon 5. Arbed there, heading into Shiva's guard as well, apparently. So we'll see if we have a bit of a switch up between the Timber and the Storm Spirit, both considering the same sort of itemization.
They like to toy with their items. That's the one thing that I noticed. I wouldn't mind seeing either a BKB or Aghanim Scepter. This is one of the best ways you can protect the egg with and just keep them in place. So both Timber Saw, it's a setup for a big spike for Lion, or Phantom Lancer to just deal damage with the illusions. RTZ, we can see that he is burstable if it's executed properly, but there's a Sunray on top of him, plus a Hood, a lot of damage that he can soak up. It's not, if he's caught alone, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Sometimes my analysis is really on point. If they lock him down for 5 seconds, he's dead. Very nice, Lacoste, thank you very much. But if there's a team backing him up with the Sunray, with the like Timber Soak going in, possibly using Camon's Halberd pre-BKB, this is something they need to be very careful about.
So much more difficult for Team Spirit. We were saying even, you know, 10,
Radiant's bottom tower is
15
under
minutes in, the execution from this Dark Squad has to be really perfect. So far, you know, the spellcasting has been on point. It's just
Radiant's bottom tower is
not
under
been quite there in terms of where they are taking the fight. So the positioning of EG has been one step ahead this time around. And Storm Spirit thinking about to go on Tiny. But here's the Yule Spear. Ahmed getting caught out with Chain Stance. Earth Spike onto Tiny. Ahmed with a bit of mana left. Gets over the arena, but the glimpse back into the field. Catching out the Storm.
Big kill. 400 gold for Mira. Not the hero that you want to give it to, but it is what it is. Roshan will respawn in a minute and 20 seconds. Tier 3 items starting to drop. Quickening Charm for Team Spirit.
And Roshan a minute away. So Storm Spirit will be
Radiant
alive.
are scanning for enemies.
And Radiant even scanning in the pit just to try and make sure there's no funny business happening over to that side of the map. And they're even smoking out here.
RTZ would love to farm his Scotty, just needs 100 gold. There's already Courier in the secret shop, which is not secret anymore. They definitely need to change the name of that shop.
What do you want to call it?
Everyone knows about it shop.
A very well-known shop. Smoke into smoke. Everybody dance around the Roche pit. Toronto, Tokyo, getting some traps down as Isosize.
Isosize playing the previous patch, or you could scout things out in the Roche pit with Courier.
Doesn't work now. Flaps and Miposhka thinking about making a move, but yeah, yet again, it's a Timbersaw, boys. You can try, you can have a crack, but I don't think you're going to be able to take that man down.
Radiant's courier is dead.
They want someone else. Courier will work. Plate mail gone. Isosize loses his Courier this time, and Roshan respawning in 1 second.
Are you guys gonna play
It's the only thing they can kill for Isosize. The hero cannot die. Courier is pretty much the only thing.
To death.
Is Dire going to let that
Well, now
happen?
Roshan is alive, but the trouble is here with this really interesting map setup is that Team Spirit are in Radiant. They're defending Roshan.
While Fly is scouting things out with Fire Spirits inside the Roche pit, just to make sure that they're not doing it.
EG are on your base. Tier 3's taking a lot of damage. Roshan now being attempted by Team Spirit, it looks like. They're in the pit with a Mel Strike and minus armor. Roshan not dropping quickly enough though, and this is going to allow Isosize to move himself forward.
He has no
through the pit. You're right, he doesn't, but they're still going to get in here on top of it. Crit with a blink axe, finding the target with the Earth Spike. Mirror coming, the Glimmer Cable by the time of the Tiny. Mirror might get a combo off. Isosize, he's still at half HP. You can't touch this map. He's too strong. Pops his Bloodstone and breaks the vision up on the high ground, making sure that Team Spirit can't execute properly. Can't split down. And Yatoro, he can't get hit with the egg.
They need to get out.
They've got a TP home. Toronto Tokyo does fall. Ahmed's onto the mark now. And Team Spirit, they're all dead.
Even without any stacks, Isosize goes in, soaks up pretty much all the damage. He was worried for a second, you know, maybe I can die. Pops Bloodstone, Sunray on him. This is the second Roche Cheese Ages plus Shard. Let's see who gets the Shard. Probably gonna give it to Phantom Lancer because his Shard feels really good, and that's exactly what they took to Poshka. We'll go for the Courier. Not gonna get it in the end. Not much damage. Glimmer Cape TP out. And right now, EG in full control of this game.
Yeah, they're strapped in. Seatbelt secured for them this time. 10,000 net worth lead. Like you say, with all that, the goodie bag from the Roshan pit. Making a situation with Team Spirit look incredibly difficult to handle. You know, ISSI stacks himself up a nice little double, a triple wave there. RTZ's on your tier 3 with a catapult top.
Bid farewell.
And they will open up this base. ISSI, he's under tier 4s. He's been a cheeky devil, isn't he? Hey, look at me. I'm a Timbersaw. I can do this. I can do that. You can't do anything to me.
Barracks are under attack.
Gotta get them all those stacks, turning reactive armor back into tier 4s.
Go on then.
Nope, now back into tier 4s.
Static storm Maelstrom. Timbersaw half HP. Doesn't give a bloody damn about
Timbersaw
that damage
full
and
HP.
controls. He just can't be touched. All right, Ray eclipsing me. Another spear back. Timbersaw dying. Timber's dying. Oh, they got him. ISSI finally falls now. TZ will lose the Aegis. Team Spirit, they hold on. But dear, over around that tier 4 towers on TZ, you'll up again. A nice arena spear. This is Team Spirit fighting back, defending their high ground as Fly. Huge Deso in there. Nearly close to the Phoenix, but Mira and a toss-up. They're super there. Here comes Abe. Big Red Death. Setspin down on the TA and they will get to Alto Tokyo. Now they come back in full force with ISSI's second life.
I think they will try to take one more fight possibly if EG doesn't go and try to end the game on tier 4 towers. Like ISSI was going and he went in, tanked a lot of the damage and nice execution from Team Spirit. First the spear into thought attack, into the static storm. 50 seconds.
Your spear maybe. Kinetic field there. They can't touch Ahmed now.
No buybacks on both cores, so they can clear out the tier 4 towers.
Spear back to Fountain. They don't get him in there. Ahmed running low on mana though. Tier 4s still looking reasonably healthy here. The EG have taken 2 lanes of barracks, but I think
EG
have time.
respecting these abilities that can move you out of your position. The only one that they lack is Magnus. You have Tiny, you have a Spear, you have a Glimpse as well, so need to be very careful how you're going to approach. Tier 4 towers still alive.
Just 1 lane to go into now though. Team Spirit having to deal with the super creeps coming in from 2 different sides. So potentially a little bit more breathing room for Team Spirit. The fights, when they get them under tier 4s, look pretty decent. Glyphing up towers, getting all that down, all their circles landing. There are just so many targets that EG have out on the map that Team Spirit can't really contend with. I guess you can start thinking, you know, the buyback on ISSI, if he does die again, could signal some worries here for Evil Geniuses.
I wouldn't be too worried. Phantom Lancer going into Heart, tanking up the illusions even more. Storm Spirit has Aghanim Scepter done on top of Ceremonial Robe. You don't want to get this item when you're playing Storm Spirit. You get the level 20 talent, you get that Ceremonial Robe, status resistance, and magic resistance down by 10%.
So good. So do you think ISSI is going to be telling RTZ, hey, you've got buyback, go save up money for it. Go and do what I just did. Stand under tier 4s.
Are you guys gonna play the game?
I'm dead.
They might do it, yeah. ISSI, will respect the damage coming out from it, will not do the same thing again.
Regeneration.
2 set of barracks down, now knocking on the last one.
RTZ just frontlining.
Look at Dagger's bottom
So
tower
tanky,
now.
4,000 health. And a Lotus Orb to back you up. As ISSI does finish off that nice buff up item.
ISSI,
Dagger's bottom tower is under attack.
they
Serious
got it.
gamer now.
Yes. Look at a professional esport player. Not diving tier 4 towers.
He's pressing his buttons, boys. He's cutting waves, making sure it's all too easy for RTZ. Tossing illusions around, Mira there trying to chip away at the Phantom Lancer, but again, Sunray with Heart. Collapse will miss out the spear with a great doppelganger dodge. Yatoro, but all his mana down to 3 or 4. Slicing through the jar of disruptor. Never mind that comes from Team Spirit now, but the focus on Collapse blows him up with a finger of death, and it's a 4 versus 5. And rocks them all over. The bulldozers arrive as ISSI sprints towards the fountain and forces the GG.
Much better execution from EG after calling out the good game, 22 minutes in game number 1. They managed to keep the composure, like just be able to adapt to how team spirit is